Doubles and coffee. Yesterday I support, I say, but Anil, yes, your videos just make so much sense. But you're preaching to those, they go still vote for PNM, it doesn't matter. And I've explained to him that really and truly, from the first level, I am speaking to people in 7 constituencies. People who don't normally like PNM or UNC. People who just love Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm giving them facts and information so that when the time comes, especially in those marginal constituencies, they will come out and vote out the PNM. Vote for themselves. Vote for what puts food on the table. Vote for what gives their money more value. Vote for the safety of their family and so on. So that's really where I get the motivation from, because I don't fool myself that somehow 68 years of PNM indoctrination will be overcome by facts and figures presented by me on Doubles and Coffee. I don't live in a dream world. I live in hope. But you must realize that when I went into Parliament in 2010, I was throwing pecan for the Honorable Colin Bud, the Member of Parliament for PNM for Diego Martin Northeast. And I said, boy, you just lucky. If we had sent 3 more Maxi up in Diego Martin Northeast, you would have get voted out. And Colin Imber looked across at me with his little grin, with confidence in his eyes. And he said, well, next time I will campaign. And that shot hit me deep in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit, in my mind, because he did not lie. In 2010, Colin Imber did not campaign. He didn't walk. He didn't ask for votes. He didn't hand out flyers. He didn't move. He didn't hold spot meetings in Diego Martin Northeast. He was on the national platform with Patrick Manning nearly every night in some other constituency. But yet he managed to get some 10,850 votes. And that hit me in my heart and my soul to show that most PNM voters, they just vote on automatic pilot. They've been brainwashed by generations that for some reason PNM is something to be celebrated at election time. PNM could do anything, but when it comes time to vote, it's to vote PNM. So I understand that. However, let us be clear, the times are changing. The younger generations aren't indoctrinated with the Dr. Williams picture in the living room next to Jesus. The younger generations want advancement, want education. They can feel what's in their belly. They can feel hunger and sufferation. And their minds are not beholden to their emotions, to some racial myth and some teamwork and some stand that produces no actual results. They want to win. They want to be able to live, to work, to take care of their wives, their significant others, and their children. The younger generation also is blessed with social media. So they are not beholden to the PNM mass media, the Express, the Guardian, the Newsday, the TV6, the CNC3. They are not bombarded mentally by that PNM mass media only. They could get their facts and figures from social media. So, while I am not ever going to think that PNM will not get 300,000 votes, PNM will get that. With a red jersey and a nice song, and they pay money for big artists to sing lyrics, and the Mama Gayu and good rhythms, and plenty money spending, and forcing CPEP workers to go to meetings, and crowd and media, social media and mass media, advertisement, and they will get their 300,000 votes. But we, the people who want to save Trinidad and Tobago, have to get 340,000 and up, especially in key seats, especially in St. Joseph, in Tunapuna, in Sangre Grande, in La Joqueta Paro, in San Fernando West, in Maruga Tableland, to hold it strong across the board in those marginal seats. But just to let you all know, because social media brings truth, if PNM voters or people that call me but say he don't want to campaign for them to vote, the younger generation, let me just do you all a little thing. Let me take your minds back. You know what life feels like right now. You could feel how hard it is right now. You could feel how unsafe you are right now. You could feel when you push your hand in your pocket right now, you only feel your leg. Go back. Take any ministry. Let's start with the economy. Under Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Go back to 2014, 2015. The economy, jobs were created. The refinery was pushed. There were 55,000 jobs. Inflation was down. You could go in the gas station and fill up your gas tank for 1/3 of the money you spend now. Your salaries, you have just received back pay, an increase of 14% across the board. You were able to survive. There were no new taxes implemented on you by Kamala Persad-Bissessar, not one new tax at all. She also removed VAT, 15% VAT from 7,000 food items. She gave out more food cards than before, 18,000. She got it up to 42,000. She gave out baby milk grant. So the economy and the economic conditions were conducive to you. Go back and feel it. Call something else. Energy sector. Small Pin is the energy minister of the PNM, a total complete failure. The energy sector under Kamala Persad-Bissessar, NGC never made a loss. We were refining products. We did not have to buy marine oil or any fuel from Petrojam, CARICOM or anywhere else. We were producing. Oil production was up to 80,000 barrels per day. We were purchasing oil to refine. We were selling refined products. NP was making a profit. The negotiation for gas price with the upstreamers had Point Lisa's operating at 78% capacity. 11 plants shut down since then. Loss of over 4,000 jobs. In the energy sector under Kamala and Kevin Ramnarine, there were an average of 20,600 jobs per year. Now it's down to 10,300. The energy sector has been totally decimated. When Kamala was there was a steel plant making steel. Now there's no steel plant. We have no future. The bid rounds that Small Pin and Rowley put out, 3 out of 17 areas were bid on, which will not augur well for finding reserves. Our Ryder Scott report horizon is low, below 12 years. So the energy sector is decimated. Health sector. Under Fuad Khan and Kamala, you could go in the hospital and get service within an hour, 2 hours. You could get your oncology drugs. Your CDAP drugs were wide-ranging and on time. You could go in the hospitals and the hospitals were clean. You could see a doctor and nurses were there working. Kamala built Kuva Hospital. She built the training center hospital. She built the Point 14 hospital up to 87%. The Arima hospital. The health sector nurses and doctors were receiving increased pay from Kamala Persad-Bissessar. The health sector, while not perfect, was much better. People were getting their dialysis on time, every time, twice per week, 3 times per week. Call another ministry. Education. Under Tim Gopi Singh, 106 schools built. Rowley spent $500 billion and built 4 schools in 9 years. Tim Gopi Singh built 106 schools in 5 years and 3 months. Plus there were 40 other schools at different levels of completion that Rowley has left to rot. Tim Gopi Singh had planning schools across the board to over 120 schools. PNM cut that. He had social workers and guidance counselors being paid to handle our children. Discipline in schools was better. Performance at SEA was better. Performance at Cape and CSEC was better. Moving into gate with Fazal Karim. Fazal Karim opened the gate to include TechVoc, to include students. Up to 58,000 students were benefiting from gate for tertiary education under Fazal Karim and Kamala Persad-Bissessar per year, spending $726 million in 2014. Rowley cut that now down to $285. Rowley cut funding to UTT. He closed down the Tourism Institute. Imagine that. We want to diversify. And Rowley closed down the Tourism Institute. Kamala will open it back. He closed down MIC and NESC centers. He cut funding across the board to education. Our schools now are breeding grounds for violence and gangs and fighting and beating. Teachers getting beat. Schools falling apart. Brick falling on children's head. What else all you want to understand? An election is a simple thing. It's a choice between who perform and who don't perform. It had no race, no color, no religion. But they like to inject that. Call another ministry. Sport, forget that. Call another ministry. Anyone that is important to you. Public utilities. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa and Ganda Singh, 74% of the population was receiving 24/7 water supply. You could turn on your tap and get water. The leaks were down to under 600 leaks. Only 200 million gallons of water was leaking out under the ground, but there was a plan to fix all old infrastructure, a link between the Ministry of Works and Transport and public utilities. That public utilities will go first across the areas, change out the pipes, and then Jack Warner would come in with Works and Transport and pave the roads. Under PNM, they just pave your road. You say, oh, whoosh, yes, my smooth road, and the next day, Wasa, they get up. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the Salcott was making a profit because the energy sector required money, required water, and they had money. And the Salcott, the water was for the energy sector, Point Lisas and all those industries. And every cubic meter of water the Salcott sold, well, Wasa sold to the energy sector would make a profit of $5 per cubic meter. Because of the decimation of the energy sector, the Salcott, which is a take or pay now, Rowley and them saying taking money because they're using it for the grid. But if you shut down the Salcott now, 3/4 of the country will not get water because the PNM has decimated Wasa. We can't even get water. People in Maruga lucky if they get water once per week for 3 hours. Public utilities, they want to raise your tea and take rate. They went around, they have it in cabinet there. They're waiting that if you make the mistake and vote PNM on emotion, them have increased rates for your electricity coming for you and telling you that our rates are cheaper than anywhere else in the Caribbean. Well, we have oil and gas. God bless this country with oil and gas. Our oil and gas belongs to each and every one of us. So our rates should be the cheapest. We should not be buying energy products from anywhere, especially not from we brothers and sisters in Jamaica. We produce energy. The PNM must go call another ministry, social development. Glenn Ramadan Singh and Kamla had direct impact, understanding that poor people had no money to pay transport to come in town, to go and get in their office to see if they could fill out a form to get something. You know the PNM going to spend $134 million to build a next building in town for poor people from Maclot, from Labre, from Point Fortin, from Barrackport, from Penal, from Couva, from Chabonas, from anywhere in the country to come in town to fill out a form. Kamla had ministers and the whole office going out into the communities, filling out forms, taking food cards, taking development, taking all the assets and all the proposals and all the ease-ups to the people. They didn't have to come for it. Social development, there were 42,000 food cards given out. The poverty line went down from 20.8% under Patrick Manning to 16.7%. Rowley Smallpin and the PNM has taken that up pre-COVID to 24.2%. And after COVID, it's up at somewhere 30% of the population living below the poverty line. And that does not include Venezuelan migrants. National security, Kamla Prasad Bisesa had the operations moving, communications, people coming out, fire engines. They had fire engines, lifeguards had lifeguards, and they were paid. Everybody could communicate. Police had bulletproof vests that were not expired. Communication was total. The borders were patrolled. The Coast Guard had diesel. The radar was working. The Air Guard had plane and radar. The helicopters were flying. And things were happening to keep us safer. Any ministry you name, Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC beat the PNM. So when you vote, vote on sense, vote with your brain. Because when you vote UNC, everybody wins. Bless.